Today's video is all about acquainting you with your new best friend, a metronome.
What? Did we just become best friends?
The metronome is the most important piece of equipment for any musician, regardless of playing style, regardless of instrument, regardless of musical goals. Just simply put, if you don't have good rhythm, you're not a good musician. It's a harsh truth, but it is a truth nonetheless. The flip side to that is that rhythm is so intrinsic, so part of like the human experience.
Kid, the rhythm is infectious.
You can develop good rhythm. It doesn't matter where you start.
Hey, I got rhythm!
You have a heartbeat, you're alive, you're watching this right now. You're literally a rhythmic being. If your heartbeat is arrhythmic, that's a bad thing. If you can just tap into that constant idea of a pulse, then you can feel rhythm. Now, that's exactly what a metronome does. So a metronome is especially important for a pianist because we don't play with people very often.
I'm so lonely.
Oftentimes, we are a solo instrumentalist. We very rarely play with the orchestra. Even small ensembles, wind instruments, string instruments, they're usually playing with other people. And that is a great way to check your rhythm.
I need you to check something for me.
You know, when you're playing with a drummer, the drummer's gonna let you know if you're off time like really quickly. And you're gonna feel it.
You're probably short circuited.
Like you're gonna feel that it's just not kind of like syncing up right. With the piano, we don't have that luxury, so the metronome is essentially functioning as your drummer. You're gonna feel if you're playing with the clicks to the beat, or you're gonna feel if you're off of the beat, right? So, simply put, a metronome keeps a steady beat. It can go faster, it can go slower. A point of note is that there's two distinct kinds of metronomes. The kind that you can hold in your hand, that you can buy from Amazon or your local music store, and the digital kind that you can get as an application on your phone. Personally, I prefer the physical ones just for a few reasons. I find that the physical ones are usually louder, so the easier it is to hear the beat, usually the easier it is to play with it. And secondly, it's just a little bit less distracting. Like if you have your phone or your tablet open on the piano, it's very easy to get caught in doing something that's not piano. Let's take a quick look at my metronome to understand a little bit the mechanisms behind the tool. Firstly, I'm just really fond of this thing. It was my grandfather's. It's from like the 1930s. I just think it's such a cool testament to how important the metronome is because it literally hasn't changed. This was my grandfather's, and then the metronome was like standardized in its production in the time of Beethoven in the 1800s. It's basically the same now. I mean, there may be a few more bells and whistles in terms of the electronic capabilities of it, but it's literally a pendulum that you can make go faster or slower. BPM, beats per minute. Simply put, how many ticks can you get in the span of a minute? The easiest way to understand this concept is how many seconds in a minute? 60. That's 60 BPM. So however we want to go, faster or slower, the number is representing the amount of ticks in a minute. So, how to use the metronome.
I learned how to use stickers, and I can learn how to use this.
Let's throw it into our old exercise, stepping. You need to play around to find the right tempo. So usually I'll have students start at like 60, maybe 65, you know, a good walking sort of pace. And then you need to determine where your comfortable speed is. Is it 60? Is it 70? Is it 80? We all start at different places. So you have to find that initial speed that you can play at comfortably, but still maintain the technique, right? Curved fingers, high wrist, good body awareness, all that stuff. So there's no point in like starting off at 100 if, you know, you look like you're in a slow motion car accident when you're playing. Bring it back down, 60, 65, and see how it feels from there. So now, we've kind of got the handle on this. Let's say you've been doing it a little bit. You're 60, 70, crushing it. Let's say you can get up to like at least 120, 130 with that one note per click.
That was easy. What should we do next?
Now you're ready for the next level of metronome usage, which we call subdivision. It basically means how you divide a beat. There's a multitude of different ways to subdivide. We can go 1, 2, 1, 2, or 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Literally as like many as you want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. You know? You can take nodes out, you can put them in. These are all different types of subdivision. So the two types that we're going to cover today is going to be cutting our beat into groups of 2 and groups of 4 in these same exercises. So now let's start just with our groups of 2. When a beat is divided into 2 parts, we call these eighth notes. They look like this. So now when you listen to your metronome, you have 2 components. We call this the upbeat and the downbeat. The downbeat happens on the click and the upbeat happens in between. So when I'm trying to teach this to students, I try and get them to think down, up, down, up, down, up, down. This takes a little bit of time. You really want to feel the emphasis on the strong part, the down of the beat. So maybe it's helpful to clap before you start the exercise. Sometimes it's helpful to just say down, up, but you really want to lock into that feeling. So let's try our stepping exercise, playing in eighth notes with our metronome set to 60. Now for the last subdivision we're going to learn. 16th notes. They look like this. Before we start though, don't feel bad if you can't play this fast yet. Most students can't play with this type of subdivision for at least a few months in lessons. You know, it's just a coordination thing, a rhythm thing, like a biomechanic, just getting used to the physical nature of the instrument, like whatever it is, it doesn't really matter. It just, sometimes it doesn't come together, but sometimes it does. And you want to have something to strive for. So even if you can't do this yet, you still want to pay attention and do your best to try and implement, even if it's really slow, you know, in your practice. So now we have groups of 4. This is a little bit harder to feel than just our down, up, or 1, 1, because you're fitting a lot in the space of 1 beat. So I have students kind of learn this in the sense of down, up again, like our eighth notes, but not in the relationship of the beat, but in actually what your hand is doing. So if you think about it, you're starting from C, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, you get to F, and then G is your top note, right? On that downbeat, that 1, 2. So if you think I'm at the bottom, and then I'm at the top, I'm at the bottom, and then I'm at the top. You start to chunk together the technique and the feeling, so all of a sudden it's just going up and it's going down. Again, this is really difficult. I would highly recommend starting like 55, 60, and even if you can do it, just chill here for a while. You want to be able to feel 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's just down and up. Alright, now to put it all together. So this is like the full version of the stepping exercises that I have all my students do. So we start with our quarter notes. Remember those? 1 note per beat. Then we start with our eighth notes immediately after, 1 and 2 and then we use our 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4. So let's see what that'll look like. Don't forget, you can apply your metronome to everything. So let's take our skipping exercise. Let's see what that's going to look like with our metronome. This tool wisely. If you have way too fast a tempo all the time, like, It's just not helpful. And I know I sound so repetitive saying this, but like,
Dang, I get it, just stop talking!
oh man, if I had a nickel for every time a student just like white knuckles it through something and they're just like trying to play instead of trying to get better, like, dude, I'd be balling. But you have to show self-restraint. And this is like the hardest thing about being self-taught, really in anything, more so than having a teacher, because it's the teacher's job. Like, I'll turn around and be like, dude, that was terrible. Like, what are you doing? Well, I mean, maybe not that mean, depending on the kid. But, you know, you can let them know real quick, adjust it, and it's fine. And then they've kind of, you know, continued on the learning path. As someone that's learning on yourself, man, you gotta be really humble. You gotta know when you need to slow down, when your technique is wrong. So what's really helpful? Record it. Record some of your practice. See what it sounds like. Does it sound as good as you think it is? Sometimes it's the opposite, where you think you sound like trash, and then you're like, wow, that was actually really good. I can't believe. Not always, but sometimes that happens. Record it, listen back, see how it sounds like. Is there a difference between how it sounds when you're playing it versus the recorded version? You know, all of these are tools to help you, because I'm not there to help you in person like I would with a regular student, but I still think you can achieve the same results. You just have to be a more active learner. Alright, that's it. I hope you got a good handle on how to use your metronome and can start to implement it pretty much immediately in your practice. Good luck. Remember, comment, like, subscribe. Let me know what you liked, let me know what you didn't. And good luck, y'all.